Hello, good evening. And welcome to the second chapter of The Company, brought to you from a hotel room in Newcastle in quite unusual circumstances. Firstly, usual thing, if you are not currently unmuted and you're prepared to be involved, unmute yourself if you want. And by involved, I don't mean you're getting into any difficulties. I just mean the more people we can hear, the better it is. The atmosphere in here is quite intense, I would say, but there's not that many of us, although there are more people than you think in this room, but you don't need to worry about that. Okay. Hello. Also, thank you for observing the dress code, which will become important. The picture quality is a bit sort of, yeah, it's fine. I mean, there are certain things we can't get away from, and one of them is that my laptop is fucking greasy as hell. Very quick, and I don't think there are many people here for the first time, but just in case you are here for the first time or you have maybe caught up with the story, basically you are the new employee of a mysterious tech company, and some strange stuff there. That's fine. You've just been hired after a successful, although quite arduous, job interview in the last episode. You have been asked to report to the airport, and this episode will take place there. All you know really is that you're going to you're going somewhere on a plane. The company asked you to wear red, black, or yellow for reasons which are probably not that difficult to guess, relating to the destination of your flight. And it's been impeccably observed. I'm looking at, you can't, as always, you can't see who I'm looking at, but I'm looking along the line here, and some tremendous red, black, and yellow here. You have to feel like you're either going to Belgium or Germany or one of these funny countries. So, which is almost racist, but it wasn't meant that way. Anyway, obviously they are all the colours of Zimbabwe's flag. I say obviously because I don't know what people's flag awareness levels are here, but it doesn't matter, except it will matter soon. All right.
God.
Yeah, God, as much as you want, mate. If you're a regular, you'll know that this basically you work together as a team to solve some puzzles, make narrative decisions, and as always, we will be piloting the show via Twitter polls. So if you are not already, be prepared to vote on Twitter for what you want to happen. As usual, and more than ever tonight, your decisions will affect the future destiny. Already this fortnight, you've had the opportunity to affect the destiny of the story, because a week ago, having already got this job, you were informed that your best friend, Francine, had an invite to the Oscars, which surprisingly have been moved tonight. And a poll in the week invited you to decide whether to honor your job with the company or help Francine, who needed a babysitter and cat sitter and vase sitter, actually. It was quite a competitive vote, but you decided to stick with the job, which means that you go into this episode having broken a friendship, but having clung on to this job offer which you really needed. Perhaps it will become important. Yes, you also had a massive cry. The first 24 hours of that poll were just weeping, and that was anticipated by the team. Yeah, look, I've seen the discourse. Of course, Francine has other friends. Of course, she probably has disposable income, and you can hire cat sitters. Like Francine can still get to the Oscars, but nonetheless, it's in your head that you let her down. But maybe you had to. This is a big job. Your job is about to begin. Basically, from now on, we're on Twitter, and if you have not ever seen this before or done it before, don't worry, everything's fine.
Good luck.
Yes, good luck is right. Here we go. Well, you're in the bath with Hillary Clinton. It's a real surprise. She says, "Let me see your teeth. I've always had kind of a weird thing for teeth." You're not getting any less surprised as this goes on. Are you dreaming? She says, "We cannot stop fighting for reproductive freedom." Okay, that's more like it. You heard her say that this week on the news. Strange to be up in the bath, though. Then she rummages under the surface of the water, hand right in the bubbles, which are lime and eucalyptus scented. Is she heading for your downstairs, friend? Hillary, her mouth is full of licorice, all sorts. This has to be a dream. You don't eat confectionery in the bath. She puts her finger to her lips to shoot you. She pulls out of the tub a tuning fork and twirls it playfully in the air. The light catches its slender prongs. I was the 67th US Secretary of State, and I thought it was my destiny to be the first female president. This seems like Hillary, but it's so surprising. Gently, so gently, she runs the tuning fork over your shoulders and your chest. "I'm going to tune you like a motherfucking cello," she adds. I didn't do it in the exact same tone. I got too excited. "Tune me," you gasp, licorice shooting out of your mouth. You're in bed. It was a dream. Christ. Shaking like a lifeguard who bluffed about his ability to swim on the application form. Weirdly, there are licorice all sorts everywhere. Oh, that's right. You ate 3 bags to get off to sleep, as usual. And now it's 5:45 a.m. You're awake, which is good. This is a big day. You're relieved you didn't oversleep. You were never going to, really. You set an alarm on your phone, another on your old phone. You asked your neighbor to bang on the wall with his massive great plunger, and you hired a male voice choir to sing through your window. In the end, you've woken up before any of these things. The choir isn't even here for another 2 hours. Good. Nothing can be left to chance. On the radio, they're talking about the Oscars. Thank you, Chris. His massive great plunger. There are 6 nominations for middle-aged white guy learns life lesson from vaguely quirky girl. The biopic of Edwin Budding, inventor of the lawnmower, for which Daniel Day-Lewis spent 9 months eating nothing but grass. That he wasn't even in the movie is slightly too obvious gag, maybe, but yeah, I know. There's the surprised person who's here. All this chatter reminds you of Francine. She still hasn't replied. You can't think about it. You have to get on with your prep. Shower, a light breakfast, out to the garden where your toilet is. As usual, you think vaguely about getting an architect to address this. Back inside, the jitters won't settle down. It's to do with the mystery job, yes, but also the flight itself. You're a nervous flyer. One therapist suggested it was a control thing. Another speculated it was to do with those 3 pitches. You need to do something to get yourself mentally prepared. You Google, "Hi, I need to get myself mentally prepared." You always begin Google searches with "hi." It's only polite. They've got a lot on. The search engine comes up with various suggestions. There's a website where a famous pilot talks you through what happens in the air. Hypnotherapy is said to be good for phobias. You could get a motivational pep talk from a sexy icon. Or the music app reminds you, you could just listen to your favorite big day song, "Let's Have Sex in a Nursing Home" by Robert and who are increasingly becoming a feature. Of course they are. They're a great band. So your options. Talk to me, bye boy. Hypno me, Svengali. Pep me up, sex pig. Or sing to me, Rob.
We go.
So what happens now, as you'll know, if you're a regular, is you have 5 minutes to vote. Yes, these are tough choices and already huge lead for Pet Me Up. We have viable things in place for all of these. There is no bluff. Actually, the storytelling is really, this is why we've put so much prep in. Whatever you do this evening, no matter what choices you take or make, this is a fully, I don't love the phrase 4-dimensional story multiverse. Well, I have to use it. This started off as a piss take, really, this thing. And now, I mean, we put so much. Christ almighty. So basically, don't worry about your choices, but do be aware your choices, as I've already said, are more important tonight than they have been before, because we have actually now, we're starting to learn how to properly do the company, I suppose that's better. So a bit of a lead, still a lead for Pet Me Up, Sex Pig, which is a pet talk from a sexy icon. The pilot is in fourth place. Some support for Being Hypnotized, which, by the way, in real life, Gary Delaney, who is comedian represented by, well, not represented by, but promoted by Impatient, my company. Delaney was an otherwise totally rational person, was terrified of flying, terrified of it, and he couldn't do gigs abroad. And anyway, he was recently hypnotized by the famous hypnotist Paul McKenna, and now he can fly. So hypnosis works. I'm thinking of getting hypnotherapy about the lightning thing, but the thing is, I'm also scared of being hypnotized.
Well, that one coming.
Yeah, so I don't think that's. And also, I know that all my neuroses are to do with the nexus of psychological issues, which, you know, I'd need loads of sessions.
Or they're rational.
Well, I don't. Yeah, I mean, of course, lightning is a defensible phobia, but there are. Anyway, we don't need to talk about my problems here. I had a bit of a go at CBT 10 years ago, and they said, "All right, imagine yourself writing lightning on a blackboard, no, a whiteboard, and then you rip the paper off and crumple it up and
That's
throw
a flip
it away."
chart, not a whiteboard. That would be quite
Fine, a flip chart, if you will. Yeah, this sort of literal mindedness is why CBT doesn't work. Because as soon as you think about it, you're like, well, why have I got this? Why have I written it? Doesn't. Yeah, it's fine. I had 3 sessions. Didn't cure me, but very difficult to. On the other hand, at the same period, I had physiotherapy sessions for my sore ankles, which I got running, and the physiotherapist just got me to buy different socks. Absolutely. If you're running, you need special socks. You need padded soles in your socks. I cannot emphasize that enough. It transformed my running career. Is doing a lot of this.
Can you put a brand in the chat?
Sorry. Yeah, I it's not my priority at the moment, but I will.
You need to spend more than 2
I need to know.
Cancel the Zoom session. We need these socks.
I do think. Right, okay, fine. We're fine. Okay. It looks like you have. Well, it doesn't. There's no looks like it about it. You've convincingly voted for "Pet Me Up, Sex Pig," which means that you're about to receive a motivational speech from famous.
Oh, what?
Yo, I'm sexy icon John Robertson, Australia's best known motivational coach. You might know me for having lots of wives and lots of success. And you might think, I can't do that. Yes, you can. You want to sit on a plane? You can do it. You want to make lasagna? No, you can't. You shouldn't. But you take my point. You can be whatever you want to be unless it's too hard. Back yourself. John Robertson. This message costs £79. Follow me on Instagram. My life might look better than yours. Because it is.
It's a motivational speech. Yeah, it was worth the £79. Yeah, it's I'm obviously friends with John, so I didn't expect to have to pay him for it. But no, they weren't all John Robertson, not by a long way. That was nice. but you still think you could feel more confident. What about another one of the options? Hang on, we're gonna yeah, right. We're not going to do cameo is great, yeah, if you like that sort of thing. This time it's not going to be a proper poll because we can't spend more than 5 minutes on this entire juncture. We've not even gone to it yet. But in the chat box, of the remaining options, what would you like out of being hypnotized, or being spoken to by a pilot, or listening to your favorite song by Rob and the Robert and the Very Bad?
Mysterious Girl.
Pretty tight between singing and the pilot.
Singing.
I think it goes singing, then pilot, then hypnotist. So that's probably what we're going to do. Okay, I just want you guys to go into this flight in the best psychological condition that you can. Is all. Of course, I want that.
Incredible thing to achieve.
I don't know how the song will go down, really.
Fucked, baby, I'm sorry about that. Don't worry, let's get that diver down.
Unbelievable.
Okay.
Encore.
I mean, we didn't have time to make a B-side. No, of course no one can explain what just happened. We are where we are. Yeah. Well, what do you want to hypnotist? Everyone's right. Like, basically, it's a completely simple case of me commissioning Matt to write a song called Let's Have Sex in the Nursing Home, a set of lyrics that we collaboratively wrote, and the vibe was meant to be late 90s Blink 182 style, but so, like, I think that's a fine way for men to spend their time. And if you're watching in North America, originally it was Lemsip, but we'll change it to Advil because we want to come to you a bit. All right, we'll do the pilot's message.
Hello, I'm Julia Masley, the famous pilot. I know, flying can be quite scary, but I have been flying planes for years, and it is completely safe. Apart from if you get an old plane, it hasn't been made properly, or the wings of the plane are completely shit. But most of the times it is totally safe, unless a bird flies into the engine, and then we're completely fucked. But it is very safe, and enjoy.
For the sake of completeness, we'll just show you what the hypnotist had to offer as well.
Hi, I'm Milo Edwards, the well-known hypnotist, and I'm here to make you feel good about flying.
Yeah, getting sleepy.
And you're good to go.
No. That wasn't creepy.
Okay, pretty well prepped, I reckon. On we go. You've had now all possible preparation for this flight. Dorian, yes, Impatient represents quite a number of comedians, although we have taken on a number of new ones for the forthcoming Edinburgh Fringe. We don't need to. Yeah, don't worry about the plane. The plane's not going to have shit with it. It'd be weird, I think, if this just ended with a plane crash and we're all out. That's not really the sort of vibe that we're going for here. We go back into Twitter, I think, and here we are. Yes, Mayanne, you could have picked Francine, but you didn't, and of course it's on your conscience. Okay, well, that's certainly done something. Your nerves, trouble there for me saying nerves, your nerves are replaced by a brief euphoria, like you've got the wordle in 3 guesses, as I did this morning. It was not an easy one. Or something without having to create an account. Bang, bang! Your obliging neighbour, Klaus, smashes on the wall, displacing all your Lemony Snicket books from the shelves. Time for last-minute packing. You've got the essentials: phone charger, slippers, chocolate body paint. Without knowing the name of the work, though, it is a bit tricky to guess whatever you could need. You look around your kitchen diner. What one thing are you going to desperately pack? You try to see into your future self. So, of course, tuna immediately. So you have the option to grab one item between book of crossword puzzles, can of tuna, fuck off big candlestick, and dildo. Kind of the obvious options. Chrissy says this is an unnecessarily sexed up episode. Just you wait, pal. My son,
imaginative 3 and 4 could be the same thing.
Yeah. Yes, of course. A dildo does resemble a candlestick in some aspects, but in some aspects is also crucially different. You'll see far more candlesticks in churches, for example, than you will. Yes, do be thinking about this because you might need this item. It might be important. This is not a frivolous choice.
Is there a candle included with the candlestick?
What's the quality of the tuna?
What is the quality of the tuna is, as it always is, impeccable.
Dolphin friendly.
What is the quality of the dildo?
The dildo.
Dolphin friendly.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
Impeccable.
Oh man, my son had his birthday party last night, so I was writing this actually sort of about 1 a.m, and I want you to know that I wrote and then censored at least 2 bits which would not have been appropriate. whatever your no knife, Adam, because we all know you can't take a knife on a plane. You can take crosswords, dildos, tuna, and candlesticks within reason. Right, slightly closer now, the poll. I mean, I'm not going to lead the witness anymore. I'll just tell you, as I say, that you're. Yes, I will tell you the censor bits later, but we'll feed them gradually into the. Yeah, this is post-censorship, man. This is actually quite. I mean, I can do what I want in the company. So every version of it you see is post me having a look back and thinking, oh no, I don't think so. I don't mind. Seems like dildo and candlestick are splitting the base, but I also don't approve it. Thank you, Amir. Yeah, the company after dark is now just the company. Okay, fine. Well, it doesn't look like it's the crosswords, and that's just as well because that is the less entertaining of the options. But whatever you do, again, we're covered. We know what we're doing. You're in the hands of professionals here. Yes, I agree with Chrissy. It's all very well saying dildo the pilot to death. You have to think about the other passengers.
Is that what the hypnotism was?
Well, we don't know what impact the hypnotism has had on you. That's the thing.
Yeah, it's worrying.
Of course it's worrying. Poll is ending, and perhaps not surprisingly, and in fact, you may well have already budgeted for this in the design of the game. On for the tuna. Fine. Not by much. It's the common sense approach. You don't know how long this flight is going to be. You have a body. You get hungry. It's only life. It's only natural. If you're sitting in the sky somewhere above Azerbaijan and you've already asked for the second and third helpings of the tiny beef, this sneaky tuna is going to be so sweet. Fine. You battle your way out of the door, running into 25 Welsh singers in red blazers who are disassembling. They've created a human pillar, one singer on another's shoulders, to reach all the way up there. Guide me, oh, the great Redeemer. They begin. Thank you, I'm up. I shout, you shout, bustling past them. Your PayPal Mercer choirs on the train. How much do you owe him, though, you ask yourself as you're boarding the airport shuttle? You'd like this off your shoulders before the airport. You want to clear the decks of admin tasks before you're in the air because you don't know where you're flying to. You go into your personal email and bring up the order confirmation from quietoutsideyourswindow.com. Mr. Mercer has written, the way we price these things up is quite simple. The Sopranos are as many pounds as there are lines of The Sopranos spoken by the character Johnny Boy Soprano. The treblers get the same, the trebled, obviously. The soloist gets the same number of pounds as there are letters in the title of Mark Watson's favourite song containing solo in the name. And then obviously whack VAT on top if I'm VAT registered. I can't remember if I am.
Oh, God.
In spite of his preface, you don't think this is that simple. That's the first time I've done a website sim for 15 years. In spite of his preface, you don't think this is that simple. Far from it. You go so far as to say it feels like just the latest in a series of numerical codes meant to confuse you as much as help you. Still, we are where we are, where we are. How much do you owe Mercer? Right. And yes, if you quietoutsideyourswindow.com is a real website as of yesterday. I mean, the amount of world building, I believe, the phrases that we've done for this episode isn't really justified, but it's still worth it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you've seen The Sopranos. All this information is pretty Googleable, but it requires a little bit of lateral thinking. So your options are 238, 272. I reckon 285.60 or 26.40. Yeah, a lot comes down to the VAT, but also, well, yeah, there are a couple of factors here. This isn't easy. I don't think I put a tweet up saying, hi, everything's easy tonight. Yeah, also, if you're not in this country, the VAT reference will confuse you. VAT is basically a complete nonsense, which is a tax on goods and services. If you're a business, you are above a certain level of annual income, which is £60,000, you're obliged to be registered for it. And basically, you have to collect VAT from all of your clients and then pass it straight on to the government. It is one of the worst things ever invented. And I've heard Firework by Katy Perry. On top of everything, which I don't mind Katy Perry, but I think Firework is a cynical attempt at a hit, which I have a lot of problems with Firework by Katy. We don't have time. Yes, as Chris says, not all. I just think Perry's better than that, and she knew she was better than it, but she knew the song would be used in montages. That's all. I like songs which are obviously written for montages.
I haven't seen it on Homes Under the Hammer yet, though.
Oh, it must have been.
But it will have been, and it's like in sport, if someone does unexpectedly well after they've been an underdog, it's Firework. But she knew what she was doing. That album was called Useful Songs for Montages. Same title Coldplay used for the album that had Clocks on. So at the moment, actually, that's not fair. Clocks is one of Coldplay's best compositions. So at the moment, we have, quite a big lead for £285. This is one of these sad moments where if you get it wrong, you just got to do it again. It's not fun, but I don't think we're really doing this for fun. Like, I don't think we ever said this was meant to be fun. It's just what you have to do. It's the same as Taskmaster. You just have to do it. Alex texted me during the Taskmaster process, and all it said was, you were doing what you must do. And he was right. It was in a period where I was having quite a lot of problems. I was sending daily text messages. I was trying to track down who had the water cooler. I had loads of problems. Oh, I'd also registered Colin Coconut, but I hadn't registered for VAT. It's a good example. And I had to do loads of stuff. I had to go to company's house. I had to take a coconut to it. Anyway, we don't have to worry about it. Right, the poll is ending. And you've gone for, I reckon, purely because it's prefaced with "I reckon." I think. Yeah, Ian, you're right. You would think the company would be VAT registered, but you put the amount in, hold the phone to your face for Face ID, provide your 6-digit passcode, whistle 10 seconds of your favorite classical music, recite the first line of your password Victorian novel. The book had that sort of beauty which seems to be thrown into relief by poor dress. Bonus points. What's the novel? What's the novel? Yes, Caroline, Middlemarch, the best novel of the Victorian period and arguably the best novel in the English language. We have nowhere near enough time for me to talk about Middlemarch, but you get an error message. Damn it. It was the first novel that we don't have time to talk about it, but very quickly, it's the first proper ensemble novel. Middlemarch is like Succession for the 19th century. It is an astonishing masterwork. George Eliot is a far better novelist than Jane Austen, but again, I can't emphasize enough that we don't have time. We don't have time. Why are you still talking about it? And also, George Eliot, as you probably know, had to publish under a man's name. Her name was Mary Ann Evans, but in those days, you couldn't get a novel like that published as a woman. I don't know if you know, but in the past, there's been sexism. We've now cleared it up. So you get an error message. Damn it! It must be the app's new feature, which works out if you're paying slightly the wrong amount. Maybe you should try again. So now, yeah, I agree with Chrissy. Silas Marner is not a very good novel, but Middlemarch is unrivaled. Also, The Mill on the Floss is really good despite some problems. Anyway, also Daniel Deronda is right, but you couldn't do it these days because of we understand racism differently. Okay, cool. So now we have one of these situations where, yeah, do read Middlemarch, Chrissy. It's an experience. We now have one of these situations where the answer is pretty obviously £326.40 because it's just £285.60 plus VAT. And if you've looked Mercer Quires up, you'll find that we've put various websites up there, all of which stress how VAT registered they are. Well done, Lily. Guessed right. You deserve to be happy, Lily. You're just there, getting on with your life, being French. Yeah, I agree, Adam. Dickens is a mixed bag, but Bleak House, a lot of them are brilliant, I think. I'm not, when I say George Eliot is the best Victorian novel, I'm not doing down Dickens or any of them. And actually, you can probably say Dickens is the best one, but I think Middlemarch.
Good Hospital as well, George Eliot.
Yeah, exactly.
They've got my appendix.
I'm sorry?
They've got my appendix.
All got your appendix. No, to be clear, Shelley, I'm not slacking Dickens. I'd say Dickens is probably the bigger novelist than Eliot just because of the bodies of work, but Middlemarch is better than any Dickens novel. And I include Bleak House in that, and that's not easy to say. All right, so the answer you've got now is right. So we're fine. Matt is here. That's the funny thing. He's just back there. We're all in Newcastle, weirdly. This, by the way, I'm not going to talk about Chaucer. Like, I know often it's pretty boring, but I'm not. There will be no more talk about books or literature tonight, I don't think, unless there's a bit I can't remember. There are an awful lot of tentacles to this one. All right. Yes, I think we're there. Yes, it wasn't that difficult after all. Tony Boy Soprano, Tony's dad died before the series' story began and had just 64 lines of backstory dialogue. I also, well, I have watched The Sopranos, but I got this from Reddit. You treble 192. And by the way, I don't really know what Reddit is, but these days that's just my life. Added those together. You recall Mark Watson's well-documented love of indie rock, Canadian indie rock super.
That's cheating.
It's not cheating exactly. Who made the song called One Kind of Solomon, which is very clever, very brilliant song. Added the 16. Then he used the internet to ascertain that Mercer did indeed register for VAT at one point. You look like a fucking idiot. Cool. You solved that. The lead singer of that band, my favorite band, DM'd me yesterday, but we have even less time to go into that. It was the best moment of my life so far, and I've had two children. The and was there. We know that from a previous episode. Also, you're looking at a guy that's just hosted a party for 10, 13-year-olds, and my 13-year-old now has a perm. We haven't got time. airport shuttle is less crowded than you expected. You've got enough room to stretch out. A good thing, as there's been so much tension in your system this morning, you're as rigid as a coffin. You shake it all out and stretch like mad, making a series of increasingly extravagant stretching noises. So you can all join in with this. Whoa! A fucking stretch. Very good. That's the stuff. Man, you're relaxed now. You check your pulse and you're down to 3 beats a minute. You think about putting your feet up on the opposite seat. Actually, it could be antisocial, unhygienic, but of course you brought your slippers and your yoga mat. Pop the slippers on, cover the seat with the mat. Lovely. A masseuse comes by and smashes the shit out of your shoulders in a good way. A manicurist appears and does a very professional job on your hands. You order a margarita and some lentil soup. This is amazing. You didn't know trains could be like this, but then you've never had the company buy your train tickets before. What's the plane going to be like? You decide to wander up the corridor a bit to see what else this Orient Express has to offer. Maybe there'll be a pool table or one of those situations where fish nibble your feet, but that's somehow a good thing. I have to see whether I imagine that. But there was a period where people used to get fish to eat their dead skin. Fine. Late capitalism. Yeah, right, cool. You get up and your pulse accelerates again like a dog or climate change. There's a suspicious package by the door. You've heard about suspicious packages. You remember a messaging campaign which recently really emphasized that if you see one, you should either report it immediately or just chill out and think about something else. Fills the bill, fits the bill, or fills the bit. It's a rucksack covered in question marks and eyes emojis. You would say it has the capacity for around a dozen packets of licorice or what sorts, or one of those large teddies you can win at the fair, or about 40 to 50 pounds of explosives. Your mind is made up instantly. It's your duty either to raise the alarm or to find the owner of the bag, or to do nothing at all, or some fourth option, because for some reason, always seems to you and fourth. Yes, good eyes emojis in the chat. You peer into the next carriage. There are a handful of passengers, figuratively, of course. I'd hold all of them in one hand. You would have to be a giant. All of them are some way away from the question mark covered bomb bag. Probably best if you don't think of it as a bomb bag. That could be and it's not good for your heart rate, which is risen sharply to 450, the average resting rate of a hamster, 100 more than a chicken. My Google history is even more of a mess than usual, by the way. If you alert someone, very likely the train will be brought to a stop, and who knows when you'll get to the airport. You don't want to be late for this flight. You could ask if anyone owns the bag, but if someone does have an explosive device, well, from what you've heard about people who blow things up, they'll not be 100% honest about it. And it could be too late. Maybe you should just fling the bag out onto the tracks. Lord, this is a fiddly one. This might feel like this is a coming of age for you, the house, the company, audience. Normally in this period, you in a situation like this, you'll get a "this is too much for me" or a cry. There's no getting out of this. This might feel like it's too much for you. Sometimes in life, though, you must, and again, not the nicest phrase, but the only one that fits, really, pin your dick to the lighthouse. How what fits the bit? Your options are pull the emergency alarm, find a grown-up to tell, ask anyone's bag, or fling the fucking thing out of the window. Big call. Guess what? You're paid to make big calls. All right, I've just been filling the wine glasses of the 17 people here, and right, this is interesting. I didn't anticipate this, but the big lead at the moment is for I mean, the phrase is "fling the fucker out." So,
is it safe to fling it out?
I don't know if it's safe. My thing is, ideally, don't fling explosives, but that does seem to be your gut feeling in your community.
But it's fun to say.
Sorry, Bethany, to be clear, my son is not here. I do think I need to distance myself from the idea that I'm giving wine to 13-year-olds.
You're not French after all.
No, I'm not French. I am. It's me and Matt and my friend Jot who briefly popped up in the Access Festival, and everything's fine. And the combination of everything's fine. Everything's fine.
What montage track are you going to use for flinging the fucker out?
Firework.
Yeah, well, a weird thing probably is firework. Yeah,
if it explodes, it's firework.
Very apt.
I think I'd like. I guess why they call that's why they call it the Blues, Belton John, and the thing goes out in slow motion. On the bass is very good as well. Yeah, the party went all right. Well, more than all right, actually. It was impressive hosting. I don't say that lightly. I mean, this morning they were all talking about who would stay up the latest. I was awake at 3. I was awake at 3:30. They broke Kit's bed, but it's fine. It breaks all the time. Yeah, I think it was actually pretty good hosting by me. I was in bed at 1 o'clock, but not because of the party, because I had to do this. What a strange life. One of the kids is so tall, man, like easily the size of an adult. So that reassured me in a way. I was like, same as hosting an adult's party. Also, he's not just physically mature. He seems emotionally ahead of the other kids, because all the other kids, when they were picked up with their parents this morning, they were just like, okay, bye. But this big kid, Kaio, said to me, "Thank you for the food and the festivities."
Oh, so sweet.
Yeah. Shook the guy by the hand. Yeah, I don't have any proof. He's certainly in the same school year as those guys, but I'd be surprised if he really is 13. Yeah, he's just not clear what his motive is. Okay, the poll is ending, and I did not expect this, but you've just we haven't exactly budgeted. Well, we have, but you've decided to throw the potential bomb out of the window. All right. Fine. Well. Okay. So it goes in a slightly different way now. I don't think it's the wrong decision, Mayor, but it's certainly it's yeah. Sometimes you've got to throw something onto a railway line and see whether it explodes. This has been done with you since you were a kid. Now you see why. It feels right. Grab the rucksack. It's extremely heavy, which increases your conviction. You wind down the window, heft the package onto the tracks like someone throwing a Christmas pudding into a canal as we do at home. Train skids to a halt. This is your driver, comes the announcement. I'm afraid someone has been a real tool and will now be stuck there for a while. It's an hour before you get going again. You're now pushed for time. But there was another episode where if you there was another option where if you'd chosen it, you were getting booed by the train. So actually it could have been worse. The incident has left you shaken. Sweat is trickling down your back like spittle from a cloud. You're in the airport with far less time to spare than you expected, but you're already checked in. You just don't know the destination. The queue at security is long. There's a half-hour wait from here, says an official. That's if the guys are on form, but I won't lie. They went and got lashed last night after the dog show. I've never seen them so rough. As you reach the front of the queue, you see this sign and your blood runs cold. I don't know if you can see, but this is a list of prohibited items and canned fish is one of them.
Nice.
Oh no.
Amazing stuff.
No knife though.
Don't
We
worry
could
about
have
it.
had a dildo.
If you'd chosen dildo, we had a graphic for that as well. Mart McDonald has done a fairly long shift on this one. Right. It was a terrible mistake to bring the tuna. Everyone knows there's been a huge crackdown on that. You absolute twat fingers. You reproach yourself. If anything, it makes you feel worse. The security official called Camilla is manning your conveyor belt, for want of a nicer way of putting it. She says, just to check, no liquids and nothing naughty from the sign. You wouldn't bring a naughty thing in, would you? Sorry? You feel on the back foot. I said, you wouldn't bring anything naughty in, would you? You're alarmed. Camilla's eyes fill with tears. I've just been messed around so much, I could do without any more of that, thanks. I apologise, Camilla adds. I hang out my ass here. I'm rough AF. That means as fuck. I'll never be another Great Dane in my life. It'll be too soon. Anyway. Anything you can't feel bad. Right. This is a wrenching dilemma. You promised your granddad you'd never lie, but you almost promised him you'd never do life drawing. And look at you now. Painting people just like it's going out of fashion. Will you declare your goods? So you have basically 4 very discreet options here. Give up the tuna, keep your little secret, give up, go home, or, and this is a rogue option, you can ask Camilla out and see what happens. Again, there are consequences, whatever you do here. So far, most of you are psyched out and you want to give the tuna out. Just accept you've got it. But there is so far a rogue minority that wants to proposition Camilla, which is also an option. Again, all of these options have. There's no point in voting for give up, go home. That just is like basically.
Theoretically,
actually, there's
give up the tuna, ask her out, and go home.
You could. All of these things are possible simultaneously, but in the world of the company, unfortunately, your options are always divided into 4s. And
Poor positioner.
Yeah, I like that.
I wish I'd offered you the option to give up the tuna and ask her out, but I didn't. You can't be everywhere mentally. And yeah, it is either or here. Yeah. I would either way. It does have plot consequences. Okay, good. 2 minutes left. This is now quite tight between just admitting you've got a contraband tuna, and surprisingly, given you've just met her, but perhaps justifiably for the story, asking. Also, there's now a minority of people who think you should just keep the tuna and not report it. But yeah, it looks like it will be either option 1 or option 3,
or a tie.
Or it could be a tie. Famously, we've had a tie between crying and wanking. We all remember what happened.
Oh, what a night!
What a night indeed.
That was a night.
We were talking about that on the way out. It's never lost its luster in our memory. It's Matt's screensaver. No, Shelley. Dressing this way is not completely irrelevant. Fairly soon, you'll be off to a destination which incorporates the 3 colours. Pretty tight, but it still looks like giving up the tuna is going to win.
No.
Come on.
Ask her out.
Interesting. Still, we also these as always, these figures are not necessarily up to date. 1 minute to go. A 9% lead for just handing in your tuna as it stands.
We never do anything that straightforward.
No, I know. And also, Hare says we have a job to get to. We can't get distracted by hassling a crying woman. Yeah, there's an argument. You shouldn't just keep asking people out. Well, it's ending. And I think by a narrow margin, you've handed in your tuna. The alternative plot where you end up eloping with Camilla gets parked for now. Fine. That's probably 20 minutes of my life I didn't need to spend.
We still have to come back through the airport. We can have another crack.
I do know, yes. Hang on. You hold your hands up, then you put them down again because you need them for physical tasks. You pick the offending item out and put it on the belt. Camilla takes a long look, winks, puts it back in your right. Amazing. What a win. You've been honest, played by the rules, and still got through with all your stuff. You feel seriously upbeat. You feel like you could have fired DiCaprio. You head into duty free as carefree as a hummingbird. Your mind's fizzing as you walk through duty free, where you've been told you'll be given more data on your task. You browse the books. The top 100 are all by David Walliams. So is the top-selling Slick Mask Laxative. It was just spraying Walliams' fragrance, cold pragmatism, and a willowy man steps out from behind the knife counter. Weather's warm for this time of year. Do you mean you're some sort of agent? Putting spy stuff. He hands over a purple envelope. Here are your tickets. You rip it open. Rub your nose, eyes, privates. It's a mistake. These are for the Eurostar. Yes, says the mystery man. We're at the airport. Yes, says the shady agent. It's convenient for me because I live around the corner. Get value around here, really up and coming. Anyway, you better be getting a move on or you'll miss your train. Well, you really don't know whether to piss or go bowling. You really what on earth? All this stress gets to the airport. And now it turns out you need to get from Heathrow to St. Pancras pretty quickly. Man, Della's dick. Sorry if you're new. How are you going to get from this airport to the station? The information is all there for anyone to see. But the worry is you have to do it by working out the best rhyming route. And you've got 3 minutes in the chat box. Okay.
Watch.
So now we pass over to the chat box. In 3 minutes, you must write the best route from Heathrow Airport to St. Pancras Station in North London, but it needs to rhyme. Good luck.
You can only get Piccadilly's the only one out of Heathrow, isn't it?
Piccadilly and the
You get the
Elizabeth
Elizabeth line.
That doesn't get you anywhere near King's Cross.
Or the Heathrow Express at Paddington, but then you've got to do some serious changing.
One change, Circle Line.
Anything that rhymes.
Yeah, these are good,
What
but it
rhymes
doesn't
with each
rhyme.
How many mispronunciations are we accepting?
I'm too much of an actual trained pragmatist to think about rhyming.
Is there anything that rhymes with Piccadilly?
I don't
be silly.
Nothing relevant.
Nelson Mandela's Willie.
I think relevancy is.
Unfortunately, that train station doesn't come till 2024. But
I think we've got Herne Hill.
What rhymes with Uber?
Tuba.
Uber, the most minded of the
Tuba.
fraggles.
Do you have to only take trains?
No, I think the rules are fairly. By the way, you are getting on the Eurostar, but otherwise we're in trouble.
We've had no flying carpets, no Harry Potter brooms.
Kind of anything goes here, really, because actually not all aspects of this story are that realistic.
TARDIS is a good call.
What does it rhyme with?
I think so far the best.
It's pretty far, this.
From Heathrow.
Yes.
Really fast. So borrow a broom and zoom, zoom, zoom. Fly direct. That is correct. So that's Jodie's work, and that is probably the best. Jump in the trebuchet. You'll soon be on your way. Yes, that's undeniably effective and also cheap. We're seconds away here. Somebody flying carpet. It's not too far, pet. That involves on
That's Newcastle.
Nelson Mandela's Willie, take the Piccadilly. Again, I apologize if you're new.
Jump in your TARDIS and dream about your mist.
Everyone's done
French
really
kiss
well.
mist.
I mean, yeah, move on. Well, you've made it to the train. Christ on toast. This feels like a long day already. You sink into your seat in the traditional manner. You snooze. When you wake up, you're in Brussels. Incredible.
Hey.
Who wanted to visit? Who hasn't? You feel emotional as your taxi takes you past all the great sights. Brussels Square, Brussels Bend, the Brussels End, the Brussels Canyon. Wow. Yeah, 5 minutes. Joke like that. The taxi driver drops you at your accommodation, the absolutely lovely old hotel, Central Brussels. You feel proud of yourself, a business traveller. You'd love to know more about what the work is, but that will surely come soon. The concierge has a note of your booking. He passes you your room key. I won't insult your intelligence by telling you what room number it is, sir. Madam would prefer not to say. He remarks, I'm sure it's obvious. Not wanting to look a fool, you nod obligingly. But as you walk away from the concierge's desk, you feel less down at home at the absolutely lovely old hotel. The room card has come in a little cardboard sleeve. On it, pictures. Uh-oh.
Yay!
Ooh. Pictures and numbers. It's a puzzle. Yes. Arriving at a hotel, perhaps after a tiring journey, wants to do these logical contortions. You're already drafting your TripAdvisor review. Still, can you work out the room number from this? So your room, well, all the information is in the task. Your room number is one of these. I gather this is one. This is.
Oh, I've got it.
Oh, hello.
Is it 5s? Oh, no.
No.
5 times 5 would not be 25. Well, no, it is 25, but 2 double faces wouldn't make 25. My bad.
3s.
It's too small for me.
Are there 2 different types of devil faces?
Yeah, that one's sad, one's
Oh,
smiley.
yeah, that helps.
No.
There's a red one, and oh wait, there are smileys.
Oh, there's 2 devil faces.
Oh,
You can see why the devil's got a reputation for being sneaky. Fuck me.
not smiling in the background, Matt.
Oh, you
Yeah, on an iPhone
we,
mini,
we don't know what you're seeing on the
that's
screen.
not going to work.
We can see that.
That's too tiny.
iPhone mini and
Too
a
small.
mask.
Age discrimination. My eyes.
No, sorry, Alex. Watson's not sloshed. Watson has done quite long hours. It's a really nice thing. Also, Alex, hi, Alex. Watson's actually quite a good guy. So, also, Alex, hi. Watson has a dinner booking afterwards, so everything's fine.
Who's in the office on a Sunday, Watson?
Hi, Alex. We try to have extra voices in the just because it is confusing and distracting.
I like the fact that Alex is shouting on text and in real life. Consistency. I like it.
Alex's normal voice is still capital letters. Yeah. We don't have a recent reading on the poll, but when it began, it was before
15, 16.
quite a big lead for 54. Interesting. Okay, let's see if that's right or not. Yeah, if
in doubt, go with majority.
If in doubt, go with majority is how we have the government we have.
Oh God. No, I was never in doubt. They were always going to be crap.
Sorry, sometimes this show goes a bit political. Sorry, guys. Like,
I'd say the word crap was nicer than what I was thinking.
I know. Crap is a really rude word.
No, it's not.
Nicer than it could have been.
Yeah, no, I was joking. I know that actually no shit. Also, I know fucking bastard. I shouldn't boast. But I know so many words.
Stop hanging around with 13-year-olds, Mart.
I think I'm distancing myself from phrases like hanging around 30.
Hosting. That sounds worse.
Yeah, no, that sounds worse.
Yeah, hosting does sound worse.
Entertaining.
I don't think we want entertaining.
Any words can help.
Facilitating, buying Domino's pizza for. None of these are good phrases.
Yeah, there's a term that sort of collects them together, which isn't great either.
Yes, and that's a term which I like.
Does perming count as grooming?
Very specifically, yeah, but also I don't think you can groom your own son. We're into difficult territory here. I think I'll say when I do get cancelled, it won't be for being a pedo. Okay, hi. What, like that's like so far on the list.
Planning on it?
No, I'm not planning on it. I'd love to not be cancelled, but I think the best thing to do is just sort of not do anything wrong, really. Yeah, that's absolutely right. 227 views, which is, I mean, we've got almost 200 people on this call, but as ever, there's this weird thing where a few people see this poll and you do wonder what they're thinking. You're not playing this. These are strange choices to have to make, I think.
Some people really like maths puzzles.
But actually, that's true. Some people like maths so much that they'll do this without any context. Well, it looks like 54 is going to be the popular vote. We'll see whether that is a good decision or not. We're just here we go. You're by no means confident this is going to be the right room. The last thing you want to do is blunder in and walk in on something you shouldn't, like sex or yoga, or one of these people who eat cereal in the evening. The key fits in the lock, but something does feel a bit off. You can't shake the feeling this isn't quite your space. Of course, that's hotel life. A hotel is nobody's space and everyone's. Someone should write about it. Maybe it's just that you're unsettled because you still don't understand what you're meant to be doing here. It joins the already long list of things you don't understand, which includes how to play bridge, why some people can't just change the string in the middle of the changing room with their bits out when there are available, why cheese, onion crisps appeals to people who don't like either ingredient, how Duolingo is monetized, can't, why losing its color makes your hair curlier. What that for me is really important. Whether people with certain types of dog know their houses smell and don't mind or become acclimatized, string theory, and most of quantum, how anesthetic works, and so on. Adam Kay told me nobody knows how anesthetic works. It was just small talk. It fucking freaked me out. He's a doctor. Partly, of course, it's also odd because you've not been to Brussels before. You stare out of the window at the Brussels Dome and Boohoo Brussels, the hospital. You can see Hergé, your hero, the creative Tintin. And there's the singer Jacques Brel, the painter Margaret, Audrey Hepburn, who was born here, Poirot. You had all these people down as dead or fictional, but then you don't know this place. You're a stranger here. And by the way, so I knew, obviously, Poirot, Margaret, Hergé. I had to Google to get Jacques Brel and Audrey. I didn't know Audrey Hepburn was born in Belgium. Anyway, if you Google it, a thing comes up where it says 20 famous Belgians to impress your friends. And I thought, of all the ways to impress your friends, I don't think the main way is going, lads, who wants to hear some famous Belgians? You absently open one of the drawers of the magnificent walnut escritoire, which is a bit too close a word to throw in as casually as that. Your heart goes a bit chicken-like again. There is a note in the company typeface. METEPADZOLESPOTCHETES. Wow. What in the name of Lenny Henry are you meant to make of this? It has to be an instruction. It's surely important you do what they want, but must they speak in code all the time? You look around the room, a dictator bed, which is one up from Queen and King sizes. You could a walk-in shower better than the ones you can't walk into. That's an actual joke. To be fair, we normally have one an episode. A TV, trouser press. What might the code mean? So we think that this is an instruction from the company. Your options: press your slacks, wash yourself, pig, stick the box on, or crawl into your bed. Interesting one, this. Again, it does affect the story. So far, the most support is for, having a shower. You might not know this, but there often is a trouser press in elite hotel rooms, and you do sort of ask yourself, I mean, really, is this a thing that people do? Of course they do. People, dictator bed is a joke, of course. You can't go above king, or at least they wouldn't call it dictator. It's fun. I just like the humorous side of things. I just love it. Let's all fucking relax, have a laugh and a joke. I think. Oh, this is exciting. Pretty tight between press the trousers, have a shower, put the TV on. Much less support for crawling into your bed. The code is crackable. This is not even Matt's fault. I did this, and you could work out what your instruction is from the, but you'd need to. Well, yes, Beth and Ruddock is not a million miles away. I'm not going to say any more. All I'll say is, I think this is fun And I think the company is a good thing, actually. And I think we need to start taking it. We need to start let's start accepting. Let's stop denying this is fun. Has it got something to do with French? It's not a million miles away from having something to do with French, Hazel. No, it's not even 20 miles away from that.
But pochette is pocket, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah,
pochette is
pochettes.
pocket, but it could be something else. This is interesting. Duolingo was kind of a clue. Yes, Bex. Actually, quite a lot of things in this are clues which set things up later. But the difficulty is you don't know when it is clues and when it's just complete fucking gibberish. And that's
I've been waiting for an aloha from a lovely old hotel.
This is the thing. Whereas Poirot doesn't have this problem because almost none of it is gibberish. Like most of the stuff that people do as clues there are clues. Like if someone leaves a dagger for Poirot, it's probably he takes it seriously. Well, we do need Susie, don't Helen, but what we need is not mastery of English here, but a different and quite minor language. I'll say that much.
I don't do Google Translate. This is Albania.
What languages they speak in Belgium? I wonder. In Belgium, I wonder.
It's Dutch and French, I think.
Flemish.
Oh, Flemish.
Flemish. Yes, they speak French, but what kind of French? This isn't easy, but again,
Esperanto.
Esperanto is spoken worldwide. Of course, that's its shtick. Narrow lead for pressing your slacks, and the poll is ending. Okay, fine. Walloon is right, JB, but it's too late.
In Latvian, it translates to throw under the soul pochettes.
The answer was that the message was in Walloon, which is a very, very unusual dialect of French spoken exclusively in Belgium. In the end, you've gone for wash yourself. Oh, no, hang on. Fine. You fire at the trouser press, absolutely grill the trousers, then whip off your knickers and change to them. Your garments are now stiff and straight as concrete and feel like chastity belts. It's been quite tiring. Oh, hang on. Yeah. You know just enough Walloon, the mad version of French spoken in tiny pockets of Belgium, that should say, to think the instruction probably did say, get under the covers, which it did. People were surprised when you took Walloon instead of maths, but look. Surely the last thing you should be doing is sleeping. You could be sightseeing, but until you get instructions, this town seems hardly worth the time. Maybe you'll let yourself drift. Maybe Hillary will be out there again. But you have vague, uneasy dreams, an explosion, the shattering of glass, a door opening, the drawer of the escritoire squeaking. You wake up. Oh, God. The last two sounds were no dream. A man is here holding a gun.
Yeah.
You try to scream, but your mouth feels like it's gummed up with licorice. It comes out as a whimper. The man doesn't seem to have noticed you. He raises the gun. God, he's pointing it at his own head. You have to stop him. You have 5 seconds to decide what to do to avert disaster, although because of the way time seems to slow down in this crisis, it will feel like 5 minutes. Exactly. You could throw a pillow at his head and then ambush. You could lunge at his shins like a dirty footballer. You could try to knock the gun from his hand. You could order room service and hope that's a distraction. Which, there are your choices. The head, the shins, the hand, the meal.
I mean, at least if we order room service, we got something to eat.
Yeah. The other parts of the transaction here.
I love a good dinner after my trauma.
That's the thing. Like, of course you want to eat. You're human. The meal, maybe he's hungry.
I know the whole man with gun thing pointing at his head is serious, but why is Matt's time 9:41 on his screen share?
This is time before, I think. It's something to do with Apple's default time is all. This was the thing last time, wasn't it? 9:41 is always the time on a screenshot, and it's to do with that was the time when the iPhone was launched.
So they can't track.
Hyman told us this last time.
I'm sorry for not concentrating last time.
That's absolutely fine. If you concentrated fully on all of this, you'd go absolutely mad. You can't worry about what's happening here. I'm just right. Yep. So this is interesting. A very, very tight vote here. But well, all four are still in contention: the meal, the hand, the shins, the head. And that's with 142 votes. So that's most people already voted. So it could come down to a handful of votes now. If you've not voted yet, you're so important and lazy. Or just or you're just thinking, and you're right to think about this. You're trying to stop a man from shooting himself in the head. This is important. Like, you're absolutely right to weigh this up until the bitter end. I'm as nervous as you are. And also, like, of course, if you order room service, I mean, it's difficult. No, you can't fling and vomit him, of course, because you took a real risk with that.
Could have brought a knife.
Could have brought a knife. You do still have a can of tuna, but
Lucky knife.
it's of limited use in this situation. Can't throw, might miss hand, says Sarika. I wish Camilla was. Of course, you wish Camilla was here. You had the opportunity to get with Camilla. You might not get that opportunity again. We were going to go on a whole subplot where you romanced Camilla and still got on the plane or train. But you might, yes, you might meet Camilla again. Who knows? Well, I know. 1 minute left. The poll is ending. Oh my God, this is as close as the legendary Kwai round. Holy shit. If that is the final. Oh my God. This could come down to a single vote now. You think democracy isn't important? Well, I know you're right. It's difficult, but. All right. How did you vote? Get on Twitter. It looks like the Shins by 1%, but we don't until the poll ends. We don't know. This is yeah.
Yes.
The Shins wins, and I think you probably were right. There's been 4 different Shins lyrics in the game so far, plus the choir master shared a surname with the lead singer of the Shins, so that is handy, isn't it? You have to be so into music to know that, or you'd have to have done some Googling, or you've had to be lucky. But the thing is, if you'd ordered the meal, you were going to have halloumi, aioli, and broccoli, and there was a good joke that you only eat things that end with I, but it's not that important. It wasn't even that good a joke. I mean, none of these are jokes, are they?
Pastrami.
Pastrami also was a word, yeah. There were lyrics from the Shin songs "Turn on Me," "Phantom Limb," and "It's Only Life," and one more I can't remember. But anyway, we're waiting for the. You don't need to know that. You just like sometimes it's heart over head, really, with the company. That's just what happens. We're just the poll is ended, and the Shins has won, but it doesn't mean it's the right decision necessarily either. Often in life, you make decisions, and you don't know till later whether it was the right decision. Sometimes it wasn't, and then all that happens is your life just goes badly wrong. Learn from the mistake, you regroup. But yeah, you have fucked it.
If we regroup and have the meal.
Here we are. Oh, hang on. Yep. Yes, there's been something about Shins all day, and you've always been quick on your feet, sort of slidey. Look at you. I'm looking at you now. What a slidey bunch. You hurtle from the bed like a cruise missile. You connect with the stranger's shin. He howls in surprise. The gun clatters to the floor. You've saved him from his own mad plan. Adrenaline is racing through you like Fanta through a teenager. Again, some of this is sort of autobiographical. You grab the gun, panic, run into the bathroom, shoot the shower. Commotion has brought people running into the room. The concierge, Poirot, naturally. Also, Edwards, who presents the news, so likes to be there when it happens. The stranger seems like he doesn't quite know what happened. Thank you, he mutters, and sorry. He's led away by the concierge while Edwards says, and the man is being led away by the concierge. Then, off camera, he remarks to you, what a night, the Oscars business. And now this. The famous news anchor, conveniently Welsh news anchor, is gone before you can ask what he means. You trudge back into your room, if it ever was your room. Your phone lights up. There's a voice message. It's Francine. God, it's good to hear. Francine begins. Hey, sorry, I'm working extra shift. So, how did you know? I understand why you couldn't tell me. I just don't get how. I would have been sitting in that seat. Hanks invited me specially because he was so sorry he screwed me that time. God knows what would have happened to me, man. Look, I have to go. Thank you. Francine.
What?
You put Google on and, as usual, pay the $7.99 charge to the search engine. You type, hi, what has happened to the Oscars tonight? Newspaper headline that comes up, takes your breath away. Oscars 2023. Light slaps down into empty chair right next to Tom Hanks. So it's worth looking at the top stories, by the way.
Okay, I can sing.
If Francine had been in the seat she wanted to sit in, her clever head would have been stoved in by a chandelier. If you hadn't slept in what is probably the wrong bed, nobody would have stopped that man doing something terrible. An email pings into your inbox. You check it. You feel like you already knew it was from the company, though, before you even read it. And if you're signed up to the company's inbox emails, you have now received that.
Nice.
Continue to March.
So is that Wednesday then?
Yeah. Thank you very much for playing. This has been the company chapter 2. Fair amount for you to think about there. There will be more stuff happening again during the month before the next episode. Very quickly, as usual, I'd like to thank Matt Ryer, as always, who is sort of right behind. I will not sit. Hi, Alex. I will not sit up. What people, I know what the public wants. What the public wants is reclining. Thank you for going. An unbelievable amount of you did yellow, red, and black, or all of them. Special credit to Hyman, Tony. I'm now looking across the whole gallery. Man, obviously, there's loads of red, black, and yellow here. And it stood you in good stead because, as you know, you can't enter Belgium without them. I can now see, wow, Matt's face is really haunting in the background now. Man, that's so weird.
Supervisory capacity.
Yeah, but you don't know whether, you've got no way of knowing whether he's really here or I've just got his head in a jar. Thank you also to Matt McDonald, Mart McDonald, for some pretty impressive last minute graphic stuff. The videos were done by Milo Edwards, Julia Masley, me, Julia Masley, I've said her, John Robertson. Who else did it? Oh, yeah, it's fine. I mean, Jot Davis is just here. Alex Preston, as ever, runs the show. And Impatient Productions it's almost boring to talk about it, but it's a case of Leanne Coop, Sven Turner, these days Maddie By, Alex Preston, Claire McCluskey. The whole thing is dedicated to Corey Riley. You've been watching The Company, and we reconvene again next month. But as I say, check your emails and keep watching the Twitter because more and more weird shit is going to happen. Thank you for Belgium. We are in Newcastle and we have various issues to deal with. Thank you very much. Keep an eye, as I say, on social media. try to remember some of the details of what has happened tonight. Oh, also, whoever's put a teddy bear with a passport in their window, you've been absolutely excellent. So if you don't remember things, absolutely don't worry. You've been great. Hopefully we've had fun. I can't emphasize this enough. I'm a guy that just loves fun. I just think ultimately death is terrifying. Let's do things like this for a bit.
Good night, all.
Thanks very much. Everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.